Hey friends, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I am here to talk to you about all of the books I have no interest in reading whatsoever. I will be doing the anti-TBR tag, which was created by my lovely friend Nicole. I will link her video down below, and I will also add all of the questions down below in case anyone else wants to do this tag. Getting right into it, the first question is, what is one book that everyone loves that you have no interest in reading? I'm not sure if everyone loves this book, but it definitely is a book that a lot of people have read and a lot of people love, and that is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have no interest in this series at all. I have heard so much about it that I think I know what it is about. Let me try and summarize it. There is a girl named Selena Sardathion, and she is in a prison for some reason, and she's an assassin, and she gets taken out of this prison to be some sort of a champion in some competition. There's also a guy named Kaol, and there is a prince somewhere in the story. I just don't want to pick it up. There is no reasoning behind it. It just does not appeal to me at all. I have read all of the ACOTAR books by Sarah J. Maas and I did like them, but this series, there's just something about it that keeps me away. And it also is a pretty long series and I am not ready to commit to that. We're only on question 1, but that might already have been quite an unpopular opinion. Question number 2 is a classic book or author that you have no interest in reading. This is a very hard question for me because I have no interest in reading classics in general. So picking out which classic I don't want to read more is hard. But I have done some thinking and have come to the conclusion that H.P. Lovecraft is an author that I probably will never read. Even though I do not like reading classics in general, there are some that I do want to read. There are a couple books by the Bronte sisters that I want to get to, and some by Jane Austen, but it just is gonna take me a lot to motivate myself to finally read those books. And I have read some back in high school, but that doesn't count. I want to read them now on my own time and not for homework. Question number 3 is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. This might also be a very unpopular opinion, but I have zero desire to pick up any of Cassandra Clare's books. There are just too many books and too many series, and I just do not have the time to commit to all of that. I have watched Shadowhunters on Netflix, and I know it's not the same thing, but I watched it. I didn't like it, but I watched it and I got the gist of it, and I don't see the point in reading the books. The next question is a problematic author whose books I have no interest in reading. I have absolutely no interest in reading any of Rainbow Rowell's books. Even before people started talking about how problematic their books were, I had no interest in reading any of them. Back in like high school, several years ago, I just saw a lot of things about Carry On Tumblr, about how it was basically Harry Potter fanfiction, and just a lot of things about it did not appeal to me at all, so I never even thought about reading them. And now I'm really glad that I never picked any of these books up because the whole thing with Eleanor and Park is such a mess. Rainbow Rowell is definitely an author I will not be reading. The next question is an author you have read a couple books from and then decided their books are not for you. For me, this author is Shannon McGuire, who wrote the Wayward Children series. I read the first 4 books. The first 3 books I hated with a passion, and the 4th book was okay. I stopped reading at the 4th book because I knew that no other book after that one would be better than the 4th one, so I decided that was it. This series is about kids who went off to magical lands, but now they are back in the real world and have to deal with all the problems that come along with being back in the real world. The main problem I had with this series is that so much representation was just crammed in here that none of the minorities really felt well represented because everything was spread thin. It felt like the author was just trying to tick off all the boxes instead of trying to actually represent all these minorities. In fact, I made an entire video about why I do not like this series, and I go much more in detail in that video. And because of all these various reasons, I have no interest in completing this series, and I also have no interest in reading anything else by this author, like Middle Game or anything else the author wrote under their pen name. I know many people love this author and their books, but they are just not for me. Next is a genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. I dislike contemporary. I don't like reading about real life. I mean, I live in this world. I don't need to read about it too. I have no interest in reading contemporary love stories or stories about high school. It just is not my thing at all. There are some that I do want to read because they sound really cute, but those are few and far between. Mostly, I have no interest in this genre, and I probably will not try and get into it anytime soon either. Next question. A book you have bought that you will never read. This can be a book you have unhauled or a book that you return to the library unread. I don't really have an exciting answer for this question. I am 100% sure that I will read all of these sooner or later. And the books I get from the library, I try and read at least a couple chapters before returning them, but there is one book that I only read a couple pages of before turning it back into the library, and that is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Last year, I read Anna Karenina, and it was okay. I gave it 1 star, but I did want to try and read War and Peace. After a page, I was like, after a second page, I was like, and then I decided that forget it. I'm not gonna try. I also did not finish Dark Dawn by J. Kristoff. I just did not like this book at all, and I could not finish it. I got maybe like 200 pages in. Another book that I also returned to the library after only reading like 50 pages or so was 10,000 Doors of January. I did not like this book at all. The main character, I mean, she was little, but she was kind of insufferable. But the main reason I did not like this book was the fact that the main character was a person of color, and much of her narrative was about her struggle being a person of color, but the author was white. I felt very strange reading all of that, knowing that the author was white, so I decided to just not finish it. Next, a series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and have DNF'd. I did talk about a bunch of these already previously in this video. I have no interest in reading the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas or any series by Cassandra Clare. I will not be finishing the Wayward Children series by Shannon McGuire. There are a couple others as well. A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. I listened to maybe 1 hour of the audiobook, and it was so boring that I could not finish it at all. If anyone out there has read the books, however, please do tell me about whatever happens to Arya, because the only reason I wanted to read the series is because I watched the show and my favorite character was Arya, and I was intrigued about her whole storyline, but none of it really made sense to me. So I wanted to read the books to find out what Arya's storyline really was about. If you have read the series and if you got far enough into it to find out whatever happens to Arya, please do tell me. I don't care about spoilers, just tell me everything about Arya and about the man with no face or whatever was going on. Please just explain it to me. I cannot make it through the series myself. Another series that I will not finish is a series that I have been telling people that I will finish for like an entire year. I've even been telling Nicole that I will definitely try and finish this series, but I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen, and that is the Red Rising Saga by Pierce Brown. I actually really loved the first book in the series. It was so exciting. The writing style was not my favorite, but the plot was 10 out of 10. The second book, however, was when I stopped. I finished the second book and I did not like it at all, and I did not have it in myself to make myself read the third one. This book is written in first person present tense, and in the first book it was okay. By the second book I was too annoyed because I, first of all, do not like first person point of view in any book ever. If you add present tense to the mix, my irritation has just doubled. After too much of Dara's I this, I that, I was like, just shut up. I don't care. There are very few books I like that are written in first person point of view, and this was not one of them. And the last series I will not finish is Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. I read the first Twilight book when I was 12. I think I made it a bit into the second book as well, but then there was this certain scene that gave me so much secondhand embarrassment that I just shut the book right then and there. I went and turned it into the library, and I have not thought about reading Twilight since. It was so embarrassing, and I will never read the series again. I just cannot get through it. And the last question is a new release that you have no interest in reading. This might also be a very, very unpopular opinion, and it's also the same answer that Nicole had in her video, and that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have a very complicated relationship with all of V.E. Schwab's books. I loved Vicious. It is one of my all-time favorite books. I liked Vengeful, but I did not think it was as good as Vicious. But because I loved Vicious so much, I went and bought all of the books in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy in collector's edition because I was 100% sure that I would love them. Unfortunately, I read the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, and it was very mediocre. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad. I just was not excited about it. It was okay. And ever since I read that book, I have been very scared to pick up the next two because I am very scared of not liking this series. I have also read her debut novel, which is The Near Witch. I haven't read her middle grade books, so I can't talk about them, but overall, I've had a very inconsistent experience with her writing style. And when I read the summary of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I was not really interested. It doesn't really appeal to me, so I think I will just be skipping that one. Those are all of the questions in the anti-TBR tag. Let me know if you agree with me or if I have upset you with any of my answers. My name is Ishi. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I hope your day is as wonderful as you are.